think big, start small, learn fast, but most importantly, start today. So I'm going to stop the PowerPoint because I'm going to hand over to Aubrey. Aubrey's going to just take us through some examples of transforming processes within a digital environment using an ERP system. And then I'll wrap up with a 5-minute overview of some BI. Aubrey, over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Lyndon. I'm going to show you some processes in Acumatica that is traditionally paper processes, whereas what I'm going to show you is more a digital form of the same process. I'm not going to demonstrate the ins and outs of Acumatica on a high level, neither on a low level. For that, I would gladly visit you after this at some point to take you through the whole system. So I'm just going to focus on 3 key points. I'm going to focus on a simple task where somebody or myself would set up a task to print statements at the end of the month. And from that statement or from that task to actually generate the statements, but also make that statements visible to the customers on a platform or a portal instead of sending out emails, etc. And then the second thing that I want to look at is expense claims and how the mobile application can assist with that. And then I would like to show you some accounts payable artificial intelligence functionality. That is more around the fact that I could create a mailbox for my suppliers. They can mail me the invoice. Mailbox would assist me in processing that invoice into my accounting system. And again, traditionally, it would have been somebody that mails you an invoice, or even further back, you will receive an invoice in the post and you will process that manually. So I'm also going to just take my video away, and then I will carry on with, and I'll share my screen. All right. Mohammed and Lyndon, you must just shout if you can't see anything. I'm sure that you guys can see something.
Can't see it, thanks.
So I am going to log into the Acumatica accounting system as a user. And one of the first things that will pop up is a reminder, because I've created a task for myself. And this task or this reminder could stay on the system. Obviously, if I keep on snoozing it, it will come back after the amount of time, or I can just go and dismiss it. I'm going to look at the details of this reminder. And if I click on view details, it should take me into the task itself. And there we could see the task. And the task was a simple instruction, run the statements for month end. And I created myself a little hyperlink here that will take me to the function to go run the statements. So I'm going to dismiss this task. So there's the process of running statements. I can go tick the little box, print the statement, or run the process of the statements for the end of the month. And then I will end up with my statements. Okay, so my next step will be I can either go print my statements, physically print them out. In this case, I would like to email my statements. So I'm going to pick all the necessary parameters, etc., to produce the statements. I'm going to print only one statement or email only one statement for AA customer, Alpha Ace, and I am going to process it. And the system comes back, it says it's processed. Next step is what I will do is I will go into my emails, because I have not set my emails up to be automated. Otherwise, I might send out a lot of other emails that I don't want to go out. So I will show you the emails that I will send out now. Okay, so there's my email, and then I click on process.
I guess that can be automated as well, Aubrey.
Yes, definitely automated. But as I said, I don't want to automate this because otherwise I'll get a whole lot of other emails going out, which I don't want. Okay, but this process certainly in a normal environment will be automated. Okay, I will go out to my emails and I should get an email from the system. Let's wait for it to come out. Right, so there's my email for the statement. I've got my statement attached. I can also go open my email, and in my email there's a message for the user that's about to receive this statement, and right at the bottom I've created a link to the portal for Acumatica. That is an environment where the user can log in. So I'm going to click on that, and that should open the portal for me, and then I am going to log in as the contact of that specific customer. Once I'm in the portal, I can go and view the statements. So there's that statement that I just received via email. And then I can go print statement. And this I can do for myself. Okay, so that is a process where customer can then look at their statements, look at their information on their accounts, etc., themselves at their own time. There's no need for accounts in the main company to send out information on demand or automate all the processes of sending it out, but at least the customer themselves also have access to the information that is relevant to them. Okay, so I am going to log out of the portal and I am going to log into the main system again. I'm going to take this task away. Okay, so I just want to close that over there. So I've got too many screens open, so I'm going to log in again. The next thing that I would like to show you is to do with the mobile application as well, when it comes to time and expenses. So just give me a sec so that I can connect myself to the mobile app so that you can see the mobile device. So I'm going to share my screen. And so I'm going to go 2.169.16.2. Okay, so there is my phone. I'm sure everybody can see my phone. I'm going to go to the Acumatica application on my phone, and I'm going to go log in there. Okay, so once I'm logged in, one of the functions that I can use the phone for is if, let's say, pretend I'm sitting in a restaurant, it's a business lunch, and I would like to, after the lunch, claim this expense that I just had, and I can do it immediate. So I am going to create a new expense receipt. I'm going to call it food and drink. I'm going to put down there Wednesday so we can see it. I'm going to go pick an item. It's business dinner and lunch, and the amount was 2,000 Rand. But I'm going to go one step further. I am also going to take a picture of the slip. So I've decided to use a slip that's not very readable so that you can't see what I normally buy at the shops. Okay, so that is all uploaded, and then I can go click on the button up there to say accepted. So on the mobile device, it's been accepted. If I go into Acumatica itself and I go to expense receipts, it is literally within seconds, then I am back here. Right, so I'm back at food and drink on a Wednesday. I can go open it up. I can look at the claim that was submitted, and then I can see things like the slip that was loaded. I can go open it up, can read all the details about it, and I can go and submit the claim. What you will notice is that the claim that was submitted goes into a state of pending approval. It means that there's a manager that needs to actually approve this before it can be paid out. So for that, I can also use the mobile device. So if I go back to the mobile device, I can go to approvals. And in approvals, I can go click on all, and there's an expense claim for 2,000 rands right on top. I can go click on it. If I need to see the detail of this, I can click on detail and I can go click again. And then I can even see the slip that was taken a picture of. And when I'm happy with all that information, I can go and click on the 3 dots and approve it. Okay, so now that expense claim is approved. If I go back into Acumatica, you will notice that that changed to approved. And that is how simple electronic interaction happens between an extended device or a mobile device where I'm very far away from my accounting system. That is where the cloud and technology in the cloud assists one very well. The third thing that I want to show you is on accounts payable. So on accounts payable, I've got a function called incoming documents. So in incoming documents, I'm going to click on the plus sign because I would like the system to assist me in capturing a document. So I'm going to pick up an invoice that I already have in a folder, and I am going to drag it, drop it into Acumatica. So Acumatica reads the PDF immediately. And now I'm going to ask Acumatica, can you recognize this invoice? And if I click on recognize, after a couple of seconds, depending on how involved and how in detail the invoice is, Acumatica finishes. And then you can see it actually did pick up a couple of things. It picked up who the supplier is. It picked up the date. It picked up the invoice number. You can see if I click there on that field, it turns green over there. Let's go back to the date. The date is green, so that how it tells me what it did recognize. If I click on the description of the line, it takes me down to the line items. Quantity was 1. The unit cost was 120. So what I need to do here is maybe just on the header amount, just confirm that it was 120. So in other words, after Acumatica recognized this invoice and its detail, you can still go and make some changes to it. You would obviously, one of the things one might think is to say, how does it know where it needs to go regarding the GL account expense? Well, what I like to do with this invoice after this is to save and continue. And then it will take me right into Acumatica where I capture my invoices. And you can see there, it actually did a whole lot of things. It actually captured the invoice like it should. And it also did a GL expense to a cost of sales for subcontractors. That is purely just because it is a default setup if I use this supplier, but nothing stops me from actually changing it. And then it follows the normal processes. I can go and save it. Okay, I just need to change the project to an X. Sorry about that. I can save it. And if I remove the hold, it will go into approval as well. The nice thing about this is that in files up here, I actually do have a copy of it. So that copy that I dragged and dropped into my system is also now available against the document inside Acumatica. And that is the 3 processes that I wanted to show you regarding digital transformation, things that are being done more automated in compared to more traditional ways of doing things. And then I'm going to stop my share. And that was my story.
Great. Thank you, Aubrey. Now, some of you already are on digital solutions that we've helped to craft and deliver with your team. And we know that there's ongoing, let's say, updates, requirements, efficiencies, etc. So what this wasn't just about showcasing a particular product. What we did was show you, firstly, a cloud-based ERP. Some of you attending this are already on that particular one. Others are still on your on-premise systems and you are considering moving to cloud-based. But I think the other thing that's quite important when one looks at the digitization of processes, at the center of that are people. Someone who needs to submit a claim doesn't have to wait to come into the office to sign it off and put it into an Excel spreadsheet and carry it around an office. They submit it wherever they are. It goes through an approval chain. So workflows underpin that. And then the approval happens. Now, the other thing that one requires when looking at these digital interactions is you need to be able to see, you need visibility on how many approvals are there, who's waiting for something to be approved, who's the approver sitting with a whole lot of things to be approved, etc. This is where you require a layer of analytics on top of it. Now, what you saw when Aubrey logged into Acumatica, there were little tiles on a dashboard. Now, you could have your approvals as a tile. The other thing you could do is you could start layering analytics or business intelligence right around this digital landscape, okay? So that people who interact with the technology and the processes can also look at it and analyze it and react or respond or make decisions quickly as they happen. So much so that if there's a bottleneck of certain processes that are being held up, alerts can be sent off. People can open up a dashboard and see that. So just to that end, I want to just give you an example of some of the analytics we are doing for some of our clients. We started off analytics 18 months ago as a separate, let's say, specialization within our team, and it's growing tremendously. We're hiring at the moment, we're hiring new data analysts. The person leading that team is also quite dynamic in terms of coming up with concepts for our customers. So oftentimes we are asked to produce something, and then when we produce and we give ideas, it tends to lead our customers to ask for more. So you saw in the video, it said you either have to insource it, you have to hire people to do it, or you've got to train people to do it. You take your choice. Have you got the capacity to do it yourself? Embrace it and do it. We can help you on that journey to teach your people, or you can insource the skills to do it. So I'm going to just share for 5 minutes. I'm cognizant of time. I want to leave a bit of time for some questions and answers in the poll. Just 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to give you an overview of some of the BI projects that we've done. So what you're seeing is a generic BI project. Mohammed, Aubrey, you guys can see the BI dashboard.
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to change it to full screen. So this business intelligence dashboard has been layered on top of the data elements. Now, this could all come from one system, or it could come from multiple systems. But here's just a traditional overview of a balance sheet. Okay, let me just go back here. So here's an overview of an income statement, high-level KPIs and metrics, depending on the selections I make, whether it's 2019 or 2020. The data underneath will change, okay? So this is at a level of, let's say, a person who wants to analyze, not the person who wants to see what is every single expense that went through. One can then drill in on the tab on the side to see your traditional income statement. This is a short version of the income statement with some KPIs on the right-hand side here, okay? And it's got some indicators of the increase or decrease as a ratio or a comparison between the two factors. If you change it to the full version, it basically drills down. Now, what's key here is that you've got an underlying chart of accounts in your general ledger that's unified. So this could be one or many companies. If it was many companies, you would be able to select the different companies, so you could consolidate here. Here's another analysis by quarter, right, where you're actually seeing for a specific year actuals, but then change it to versus budget. You could also change it to percentage of revenue. And then a detailed one, which is more like your traditional one. So Here's a detail of all the months in a rolling kind of income statement. And if you change it to 2019 or make other selections, if there are other filters, it will show you the information. Now, all of this can be exported to Excel. You could share this via a digital platform onto mobile devices to all the stakeholders who need access to it. So no longer do you distribute a monthly pack. You basically give people access with security rights to see the information that they need to see. At the top here, I've got another menu item that says show me the balance sheet. And again, I've got some key ratios about profitability, liquidity, and leverage, debt ratio, debt to equity ratio, etc. The analysis part underneath is your traditional balance sheet with a short version as well as a full version. So depending on how you want to report on this, you could see just the high-level reporting lines versus, let's say, more detail underneath into the categories of accounts. And on the right-hand side, some visualization on the balance sheet breakdown, assets, liabilities, and equity, assets breakdown, liabilities breakdown, etc. And then if you go to a detailed version, similar to the income statement, it draws this out over a 12-month rolling period. And depending on how many dashboards, how many menu items you need, you can then move straight into your receivables and payables. Here's an overview of both receivables and payables, top 10 customers, top 10 vendors. On the right-hand side, what is your collection index? So what is your collection over days outstanding? At the bottom, it's the opposite, which is your payment efficient index, how many payables are outstanding, etc. What is your AP performance? What is your receivables performance, etc. over time? Then you could actually see the AR in some detail, and here you'll see your traditional age analysis. So here's your age trial balance for your customers. Again, you can say, well, is it just for 1 month? Is it for the whole year? Obviously, age analysis, you're generally doing it by month, and it's year to date by month. And if you want to just get separated into open items or balance forward, etc., you have the ability to do this. This is aging by invoice date. You can age it by document date, and it follows the principles of the underlying accounting system to show that. Again, you can explode bargain mart here and see all the different invoices that make up the outstanding and what bucket it's sitting in. So many times when people are looking at a balance sheet, when they want to then look at the underlying age analysis, they have to go into the accounting system and look at it. But we're finding we can actually present a lot of these in dashboards, in dashboard format. And here's the accounts payable aspect of that. So that's just an example. Here's another example of, let's say, sales overview when you're looking at performance of stock, performance of customers, suppliers, performance of salespeople or representatives or key account managers, etc. So as at a certain month, in this case, it's all month for a certain year, but you can drill down into a specific month and you can get the details about that specific month. And then here we're looking at sales. We could look at it as quantity, margin, cost of goods, returns, discount. So a lot of these factors are all customizable. These are ones that we sometimes have a lot of our clients saying, can you show me this and show me that? So from that perspective, you have the ability to visualize the data and interact with it. And this is key in this digital age, is when I can visualize it and what I know about this data is it is real time. It's not something somebody prepared for me yesterday, which is almost half irrelevant today. Okay, so that's just one example. I'll give you another example of an HR dashboard. Sorry, I don't mean to be rushing through this. I'm just giving you a quick showcase of these. So if I look at an HR dashboard, this is just a generic one that we did, and you can look at employee analysis. If I look at an employee analysis now, I might be connecting to my HR system that says how many people have I hired, how many have been dismissed, obviously within a time frame. So you can filter that by years, months, etc. In this case, it's looking at multiple years, but one can look at a specific years. What's your higher age groups? What are your demographics about dismissal age groups, etc.? Turnover rate, what's the length of service, what's the average salary, etc. If I then look at another measure or another dashboard, you can see a whole write-up here about, goal seeking. What are the demographics about the kind of people we have? Who stays longest? Is there a profile of those who stay longest? What's the education levels? What's the ethnicity? What's the length of service? marital status, salary brackets, all sorts of things. So once you can unify your data into a visualization platform like Power BI, now it doesn't matter, you can use other platforms. We're finding that Power BI has been a massive disruptor to the business intelligence sector. Firstly, it came in at a low cost compared to the competitors, and it's constantly evolving and trying to deliver more value to customers. And that is just in line with the digital age. So this was just looking at HR from analytics on your human capital across different dimensions, across different measures. Now, I didn't have to pull out 10 different spreadsheet reports to interact with this data. I actually had it on my fingertips as consequence of building a data warehouse or a data transformation model, pull the data out of the source, scrub it and relate it to each other, and present it to the consumer, the person who needs to use it. The last one I want to show you is just a simple sales kind of dashboard, which has got quite a few things in it. I won't go through all of them. But if you look at it, here's an overview of revenue, gross profit for the whole year in ZAR for all companies. Here's it by territory, revenue by comparison, current year, previous year, unique customers in South Africa and rest of Africa, what kind of items, there's my bubble trend happening up there, brand and customer. There's also a derivative of the sales information, product, what kind of products are we selling, who are we selling to, who are the salespeople selling them, items sold, range sold by customer, etc., etc. So this was just an overview or quick showcase of some of the things that we've been able to do with analytics using Power BI. And the great thing about this is that our customers are trusting us with this, because traditionally we used to write reports for our customers. We were the ones saying, okay, if you need a report, we'll write it for you, we'll publish it on your desktop, etc. Nowadays, more and more people are coming to us and say, give us visualization. One of our big shipping and logistics companies came to us after we did some productivity dashboards for them, where they could see how many open documents are there in AP, how many in AR, who are the users who capture them. So we could actually see efficiencies of capturing by different users with certain types of documents. They then came to us and said, here's our board pack. We want to change our entire board pack into a visualization dashboard that's accessible to certain key stakeholders. And we're finding that that is creating a transformation within organizations, because once we deliver it, people expect it. You know, before that, they didn't expect it. They said, I wish I could have it. Once they've got it, they come to expect it, and then they come back and say, can you help with more? Some have come back and say, teach our people how to manage it. We're welcome to do that. We realize our role is your capacity partner. If you've got the time and the skills to do it, you'll do it. Where you don't have the time or skills to do it, you rely on us to do it. And we continue investing in those skill sets to help you with it. So I want to just bring that little presentation in terms of that to an end. We've got about 5 more minutes for us maybe to take some questions. I don't know if there are any questions that have been asked, but I'm going to ask Mohammed just to launch a quick poll before we go into the questions. So we've spoken about digital transformation. We've showcased some examples of how using later technology, cloud-based systems, etc., you can semi-automate and automate certain processes. But if one bears in mind that digital transformation isn't saying, okay, I want to go from A to Z and I'm going to get there in one go. If one bears in mind what the world is telling us through case studies, through our own experiences, through things that we've tried and it hasn't worked and we've tried again, is that create the big picture, start small. And you don't have to wait for everything to be perfect to get it going. You can actually have a big picture and get going. But along the journey, you are informed about where you're going, and you may take different routes to that outcome. So Mohammed, if you wouldn't mind launching the poll, can I ask everyone to participate in the poll? It's 4 simple questions. It's about what we've presented. It's about what we've shown you. And if you can give us some feedback, that would be great. Thanks, Mohammed. And the panelists can't answer these questions, so we can't skew the what's name. If you can, if you're having any problems with the poll, please put it in the chat or the Q&A, which we're watching. So if you wouldn't mind, just take half a minute to a minute to interact with these questions. Question 1, have you considered the benefits of moving your business to the cloud? Some of you have done some of that already. Would you like us to contact you to explore using Power BI? Number 3, would you be interested in learning more about Acumatica Cloud ERP or Cloud ERP in general? And the last one, did you find this webinar to be informative? Thank you. We'll just give it a minute before we open up for some Q&A. Ahmed, can you see the progress on the poll so far?
Yes, I can, Lennon. Just giving.
Monitor it and tell us when you can close it.
Yeah, so the last person is just answering the poll. Okay, Lennon, everyone's done. I'm just ending the poll.
Thank you very much. I think it's been great having everyone here. I do want to ask if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask, please do. We'll stick around for another few minutes after this. The recording, I think it'll be shared. I'll also share some of the collateral, the information I've shared. I'll share it with everyone who has attended. And I'm looking forward to engaging further. So the purpose of these webinars is really to share ideas, knowledge, things that we're finding that's happening, etc. It may drive some of you to think about it more and start doing some things if you're not already doing them. And if any of you would like us to engage with you around some of the items that you've seen here, or some ideas you have that you'd like to just discuss with us, please feel free to do so. You can think of us as your partner in your journey, whether we're doing something for you or just having a conversation that will drive ideas. We welcome that engagement and interaction.
Okay, Lyndon, there's a question from Natasha Saliers. Her question is, where would you recommend one start Power BI and what are our rates?
Natasha, thank you. That's a great question. Often with Power BI, the question of where to start is normally a starting point is saying, okay, what do I want to achieve out of this? You know, do I want to have some traditional dashboards? Who are the stakeholders that they're going to service? And you can start with saying, okay, where's some of the burning needs for analysis? Is it the income statement analysis? Is it the sales analysis? Is it looking at, you know, what processes are in progress and where are the bottlenecks for approvals, etc. So one starts with looking at the data and looking at what kind of outputs you need to service different people. If you're saying, where do I start with Power BI, with becoming upskilled on it? That's a slightly different question. Then there's lots of courses and we can help guide any of our clients about getting upskilled, etc. What we're finding is that we help customers get an accelerated start of, we do the project for them initially, and we help them become empowered to manage the cubes and the data visualization themselves. So start small with saying, okay, I want to do a whole lot of things with Power BI, but what's the immediate need? That's where I would recommend we start, because you build that first. I'll give you an example. First Technology in the Western Cape came to us and said, we want these 3 dashboards. And we started off with that. We built the dashboards and we delivered it to them, and within a week they came back, but we want to make changes. Then they said, okay, guess what? Let's engage a process of 12 months. We'll put you onto a service agreement. We'll constantly interact with the dashboards and look at our needs, and you'll help us configure and change those as we go along. That's kind of the developmental approach some customers take. Some have come to us and said, deliver these 2 dashboards. We've delivered them. They've come back later and said, okay, we want another one, and they've gone quiet. By and large, our customers are coming to us to say, we start small, and then if there's value, 99% of the time, they derive value out of it. They then say, okay, let's extend it, because the stakeholders within the organization are finding that they are getting benefit out of it. So, Natasha, I hope I've answered your question in a bit of a roundabout way, but yeah.
Thank you for that, Lyndon. There's no other questions at the moment.
Well, thanks very much, everyone, for coming. We will stick around for another few minutes. If you have any other questions you'd like to ask here, please feel free. If not, please reach out to us at Adinga. You all know who we are. Reach out and we'll respond. Again, we will make the presentation available to everyone who's attended. I think we'll just give it another minute and we'll end the webinar, but thanks again for this. And we look forward to inviting you to other webinars about other aspects of, let's say, the solution landscape, the people and process landscape.
There's a question from Jade as well.
Okay, sure.
So Jade is asking, what about an EDI integration into Acumatica?
Yeah. So Jade, good question. What Aubrey did